All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this, welcome to this meeting of the Senate Committee on Education. We welcome you here in Carson City. I see someone in Las Vegas, or, she's waving. Hi, thanks for joining us. We welcome you from Las Vegas and anyone who may be tuning in. And also, I understand we have people on Zoom that will be a part of the presentation today. So my name is Senator Angie Taylor, and I am honored to to chair this meeting on today. So we will start with our roll call. Madam Secretary.
Senator Buck. Here. Senator Cruz Crawford.
Here.
Senator Donati.
Here.
Senator Dondero Liu. Senator Rogish. Here. Senator Titus. Here. Chair Taylor.
And I am present. Please mark Vice Chair Dondero Liu present when she arrives. She is presenting a bill. It's that time right now, so that's going to be happening. Again, welcome to our meeting. Just let me go over just a little bit of housekeeping for those of you who may not have had the opportunity to join us earlier. Please silence your electronic devices. To testify, if you plan to testify, please make sure you've signed in at the table. And if you're going to testify and you have a business card, please give that business card to our secretaries right over here. When you come forward, whether it's to testify or whether it's for public comment, please make sure you turn the microphone on and then speak slowly and clearly and spell your last name. And the first time you spell your last name. Other than that, every time you speak, you still must give your name because we're taking minutes and we want to make sure that the minutes are an accurate reflection of what has happened on today. Let's see, we will take public comment at the end of the meeting. And so if you plan to make public comment, let me give you that phone number. That phone number is 888-475-4499. And the meeting ID is 8357-0659. 295. I'll give that meeting number again at the end, but if you'd like to make public comment or call in, that is the number that you will use. And then just as a reminder, we are a policy committee. We know some of the legislation that we will consider does have a fiscal impact. That is not our committee. We deal with the policy piece of it, and then the finance committee, should it get to them, will deal with the finance part of it. And then finally, you will see that committee members have laptops in front of us and other electronic devices. Please do not take that as a sign of disrespect or of inattention. We have exhibits and notes and so on that we refer to quite often, but we are right here with you following along in the committee. Okay, today we have two bills that we are going to hear. We're going to hear them in this order. Senate Bill 357, because we understand we have people on Zoom, so we want to not have them hanging out any longer than they need to. And then we'll hear Senate Bill 272. And then we'll ask Senator Krasner if you'll please come forward with any presenters with you. Senate Bill 357 revises provisions relating to the education of pupils with disabilities. So, Senator, please take your time and settle in. And if you're in Las Vegas and are a part of this presentation, then come forward at this time as well. And I do recognize we have somebody on Zoom. Okay, Senator, please begin when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair Taylor, and members of the Senate Education Committee for giving me the opportunity to be here today. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. My name is Senator Lisa Krasner, and I proudly represent State Senate District 16. This bill, Senate Bill 357, it aims to enhance the outcomes and educational experiences for students who are blind and visually impaired and deaf and hard of hearing. The bipartisan effort on this bill underscores our collective agreement to make sure all students receive the support they need to succeed. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, mandates that students with disabilities are entitled to a free, appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment. While Nevada has made significant strides in supporting students with disabilities, the critical need to address the unique challenges faced by students who are blind, visually impaired, and deaf, hard of hearing remains. Ensuring that students have access to appropriate instructional methods and technologies is essential for their academic and personal development. Senate Bill 357 proposes the following provisions to strengthen the education of students with visual impairments. It requires the State Board of Education to establish standards for providing instruction in Braille and the use of Braille if wanted. It also requires the State Board to develop guidelines for incorporating assistive technology and related services into the instructional programs or IEPs of students with visual impairments. When developing an individualized education program or IEP for a student with a visual impairment, the team must provide instruction in Braille if requested and wanted by the student's parent or legal guardian. Ensure that the student receives the necessary assistive technology and services, and prohibits a district or school employee from interfering with a student's prescribed use of a cane or walking stick if they want a walking stick or cane. Lastly, the bill emphasizes that when developing an IEP for a student with a visual impairment, the IEP team must adhere to federal requirements concerning the least restrictive environment, and that goes for blind, visually impaired students and deaf, hard of hearing students. This includes documenting the basis for the student's placement to ensure compliance with IDEA. This is a policy committee. Although the bill may have a fiscal note, we're not looking at that today, and I appreciate that. There is an amendment, and I hope you all have received it. It says Amendment to SB 357, 2025, Senator Lisa Krasner at the top. Does everyone on the committee have this? Yes? Everyone has it? Okay. Terrific. And then just quickly going through the amendment. And again, I worked with all of the parties. Anybody who had a stake or wanted to have their voice heard, I included all the amendments that they asked for. Parents of blind, visually impaired, or deaf, hard of hearing children have the right to appeal any decision in the Individual Learning Plan, ILP, or Individualized Education Plan, IEP. Blind, visually impaired, and deaf, hard of hearing students shall have the option to use a cane or not use a cane. Additionally, students may use alternative methods to assist them with learning, such as their choice of a mobility device, assistive technology, and artificial intelligence. Assistive technology and providing a tablet. I'm informed that tablets are already provided for these special needs children. And we just wanted to clarify that providing the tablet meets the minimum requirements. Students also need assistive technology that is sufficient to meet the needs of the individual student, i.e. a screen reader software. The bill expands the definition of assistive technology for blind, visually impaired, deaf, hard of hearing students to include technology and artificial intelligence, AI, that meets the specific individual needs of the student when possible. Additionally, Braille, audio tape, or enlarged print will be provided if requested. This bill intends that the least restrictive environment shall be in the IEP for blind, visually impaired, and deaf, hard of hearing students. The least restrictive environment principle mandated by the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, requires students with disabilities, including those who are blind, visually impaired, deaf, hard of hearing, to be educated with their non-disabled peers to the maximum extent appropriate. In closing, I'd like to say Senate Bill 357 represents a vital step toward ensuring that students who are blind, visually impaired, or deaf, hard of hearing in Nevada receive the quality education they deserve. By setting clear standards with integrated assistive technologies and reinforcing individualized support through IEPs, we can empower all students to achieve their full potential. You know, in talking to so many people about this, my emphasis in bringing this forward was just so that children that are blind and visually impaired or deaf and hard of hearing can be in the same classrooms with children that are typically functioning and developing and play out on the same playground with children that are typically functioning and typically developing. I have two co-presenters here with me and one on Zoom. If I could please let it go to them before we go to questions, Chair. Thank you.
Yep, go right ahead.
First will be Dora Martinez to my right. Are you okay?
Thank you. Move closer. Oh, okay. Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Dora Martinez, and I appreciate you all for giving us a chance to speak. So I thank Senator Lisa Krasner for bringing this bill forward. And before we go any further, there's Thomas Kearns on Zoom and Mr. Paul Edwards as well on Zoom. So maybe they can introduce themselves. And so if there's further questions, we'll be answering them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Senator, who's next, Senator?
Ms. Catherine Nielsen from the Governor's Office.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Catherine Nielsen. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here. I'm the Executive Director of the Nevada Governor's Council on Developmental Disabilities. First off, right in front of you all, you should have Braille pieces of paper. There are 3 items for you. One of them is a Braille graph, one of them is a Braille alphabet, and the other one is your name in Braille as well. And we wanted to provide that to you because we know that Braille may not always be typical, may not always just be the bathroom signs that have Braille on it. It might be something like a functional graph where we can actually show them things. You can also Braille things like the bones in the hand and show them those as well. So there are a lot of really cool pieces for you as well. The biggest piece that we wanted to highlight, and I'll be super short and sweet for you all, is that we created a video called Our World in Our Words that stars Ms. Martinez and another student who is hard of hearing. And we encourage you guys to take a look at that because it will give you the opportunity to step into their world for just a few minutes and experience what they experience. So I will yield the rest of my time to the presenters, and I'm here for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nielsen.
And then we have 2 people on Zoom. Paul Edwards and Thomas Kearns.
Okay, that's fine. You still have 6 minutes left, so you're in good shape.
Thank you, Chair.
My name is Thomas Kearns. It's spelled Kearns. I'm a retired assistive technologist. Worked for Truckee Meadows Community College for 20 years. Worked with students, helping them to reach college level requirements so that they may be able to attain process. That's who I am. If you need some technical information, I would more than glad to talk about this because it is an important factor. Many students come to college level unprepared, not being able to read Braille or being able to have the assistive technology knowledge and skills to be able to function within college, let alone in society. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kearns. Please, Senator.
And then I think we have one more person on Zoom. Thank you, Chair.
Please go ahead.
Mr. Edwards, please unmute. There you go.
Yeah, I think I'm good now. My name is Paul Edwards, EDWARDS. I am the immediate past president of an organization called the Braille Revival League, and I am also a past president of an organization called the American Council of the Blind, that is a national organization which has 60 chapters, some of which are state affiliates and some of which are special interest affiliates. My last job, and I'm retired now, was for 27 years. I served as director of access services at Miami-Dade Community College, the largest college in the country, and can testify that Braille is absolutely crucial. There are many states that have actually gone further than Nevada is going in this bill. This bill makes it pretty much still a voluntary operation. There is currently a bill called the Cogswell-Macy Act, which is being proposed at the national level, that would actually require Braille to be a part of the IEP unless the team can demonstrate that it isn't appropriate to teach Braille. I want to quote two statistics and then I will end my presentation. The first statistic is that it is approximately 3 times more likely that an individual who is a competent Braille reader will become employed than it is for an individual who does not know Braille. So to provide children with the ability and indeed the encouragement to learn Braille will fundamentally affect their ability to be competent citizens. With regard to the special technology that is also a part of this bill, I would simply reaffirm what our previous speaker has said. As director of a huge college department where we served 50 or so blind students every year, it was often the case that they simply did not have the competence in access technology that made it likely that they were going to be successful in college. So this bill will make a huge difference to the success of blind folks in Nevada. And I sincerely hope that it will go forward and be passed. And thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Chair and members of the committee. We're now ready for any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you, Senator, and all who came to present this bill with her. There are some questions, and so we will start with Senator Titus.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Senator Krasner, for being here. And I just want to, I have a question, but first I want to acknowledge Ms. Martinez. It's so good that you are actually here in person. We have heard your comments, and I just want you to know that is always appreciated that you are staying so engaged in this process. And so I thank you for that. With that, I have a couple questions, if I might, Madam Chair. First, on the bill itself, on Section 1, looking down to number 6, and it talks about the minimal standards prescribed by the State Board for pupils. And then number 4 is standards for the provision of instruction of Braille and the use of Braille. So, and I know the previous speaker said it's not a mandate, but I want to clarify that is this saying that each student then, each school board you want them to have some sort of an instruction process for Braille that the school is going to be mandated to provide, or what does that mean?
May I answer? Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Senator Titus, for your question. So, as I said before, I worked with all of the stakeholders, and anybody that wanted to be involved was included, including Ms. Joan Ebert from the State of Nevada Department of Education, who supports the bill. I don't want to speak for her, but she was included in every discussion and every email, as were all the people testifying. Nothing is mandated, and if you look at the amendment, it says we're trying to do what's in the best interest of the student, but when possible. If you look at number 2, it's when possible. So if it's, we're hoping that every public school in the state of Nevada can do this. If for some reason they can't, that's where that when possible language comes into play. So
follow-up-
it's not a mandate.
Follow-up, Madam Chair? So thank you for that. It just, the sheet with the amendments isn't really tied to any particular section in the bill, so I wanted to clarify what these amendments were doing. Next question, actually, on the first amendment on the that you have, that of the three on that page, it says that parents of blind, visually impaired children have a right to appeal any decision. So I just want to make sure that if that amendment is inserted here, because it's my understanding, as I've said to this committee multiple times, I'm the physician for Lyon County that looks at the IEPs, and I review those for all the students there, and it's my impression that the students, that the parents could already appeal any decisions that were made, not just for, it wouldn't be just restricted to the deaf and hard of hearing. I think that's already part of those IEP processes, that parents have a right to appeal any decisions that's already made. So I'm not sure
Maybe
that-
we could ask legal.
Yeah, I'm not sure that language needs to be there for clarification, because I want to make sure then if that ends up in there, is it just those folks that can appeal when it's already broad?
Thank you for that, Senator. We'll ask legal counsel, please. Thank you, sir.
Cameron Newton, Committee Counsel. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Senator, for the question. Yes, I agree. Under the IDEA, specifically 20 USC Section 1415, which sets out the different requirements governing due process hearings, yes, there is an opportunity for any party to present a complaint with respect to any matter relating to the identification, evaluation, educational placement of the child, or the provision of a free appropriate public education.
Thank you. So there's already broad protection for the parents to ask for that.
I'm going to follow up on that, please, if I may jump in the middle of your question, Senator. Mr. Newton, so it says they can file a complaint. Is that the same legally? Is that the same as appealing?
Cameron Newton, Committee Counsel. Well, the complaint I'm referring to is a due process complaint, which would presumably then lead to a due process hearing, which is presumably what the amendment here is referring to.
So basically one and the same? Because it would lead to.
Cameron Newton, Committee Counsel, yes, I think so.
Okay, thank you, counsel.
Okay,
Go ahead,
that
Senator.
was what my understanding was. So thank you for that clarification. I just wanted to make sure we didn't put something in statute that perhaps then restricted what we were already doing. Thank you.
And if I could further, just, I added that in because,
That's
and
Senator- that's Senator Lisa
Senator
Krasner.
Lisa Krasner, proudly representing State Senate District 16. Thank you, Chair. In creating this amendment, I let every stakeholder and everybody that wanted to have a voice in this bill put any amendment they want, and so that was one of the group's amendments they asked me to put in.
Thank you, Senator. So it's Mr. Newton, I'll ask you again. So is it redundant to have number one in there? Should that be removed? Would that be your recommendation?
Cameron Newton, Committee Counsel. As far as the drafting of it, I'm not sure I can really weigh in on whether I can tell the senator what she should or should not remove from this. But I can say that what is included in Part 1 here of the amendment, in my opinion, is already covered by federal law.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Other questions? Senator Cruz Crawford?
Thank you so much, Chair. I appreciate this. Thank you, Senator Krasner, for bringing this forward. When I was first reading this, I was thinking it's already in place, but I guess it's not. So thank you for bringing this forward. I do like the minimum standards prescribed by the state board for pupils with visually impaired. One of the things that I would suggest that I see a lot is we have very limited resources, or a lot of times we have resources and teachers are not aware of the resources. And where I often see this is when we have visually impaired or even communication impaired, where we use eye gazing and stuff for communication. A lot of teachers do not know that districts have these services. So if it would be appropriate to also the board to direct communication of what resources are available. That would be helpful because when I supervise ESY, which is the extended school year, I have a lot of students from other schools come to my campus, and I'm able to identify a student like, oh, does this student use this communication device? And they're like, no, and then it unlocks so many opportunities and potential out of that student. So I think that would be really helpful, some sort of disseminating of what resources are already existing, because a lot of times teachers don't even know what's available. It should be coming through the special education facilitator in the building, but they are stretched very thin. So that would be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Are there other questions that we have here? Okay, seeing none. I see you're taking notes, Senator. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ms. Martinez, and thank you, Ms. Nielsen, as well as Mr. Kearns and Mr. Edwards. Please stick around because there may be an opportunity if we have further questions as we open it up for support and opposition testimony. So at this point, at this time, with our hearing being open for Senate Bill 357, we're going to open it up for anyone who would like to testify in support. In support of Senate Bill 357, please come forward. We have 3 chairs. Please come fill the chairs. Each of you will have 2 minutes. If there's anyone in Las Vegas who would like to testify in support, please go forward at this time as well. Okay, so and please you'll each have 2 minutes, and please state your name for the record.
Good afternoon, Chair Taylor and members of the committee. Amy Sjogren, that's S-H-O-G-R-E-N with Black and Wadhams, here today on behalf of the Nevada Blind Children's Foundation located in Henderson. We are here obviously in support of SB 357 and do thank Senator Krasner for this important piece of legislation. Nevada has just under 16,000 non-institutionalized children who are blind or visually impaired from birth to 20 years old. This bill helps to further the vision of the Nevada Blind Children's Foundation of ensuring that every child with a visual impairment reaches their full potential. And I would also like to echo what Senator Titus said about finally meeting Ms. Dora Martinez. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sjogren. Please go right ahead.
Hi, my name is Morgan Mitchell, M-I-T-C-H-E-L-L. I'm an occupational therapy student, and I'm in support of this bill as a student and as a future occupational therapist. It just covers everything. So, yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. Please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Maximilian Lowe, L-O-W-E. I'm the chair of the Governor's Council on Developmental Disabilities. I'm in strong support of SB 357, which allows students in Nevada's school system who are blind and visually impaired and who are deaf and hard of hearing to have equal and accessible access to education that meets their needs. People with all types of disabilities should have equal access to high-quality education without barriers to their education. Since there are programs for all other types of disabilities in our school system, why isn't there anything in place right now for the blind and visually impaired or deaf and hard of hearing? This bill is a crucial step in addressing the gaps in ensuring that all students, regardless of abilities, receive the support they need to succeed in their education. By passing SB 357, Nevada can demonstrate its commitment to inclusivity and fairness in our education, ensuring that every student has the resources they need to thrive in their educational journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lowe. Please come forward. Go right ahead.
Hi, Chair. My name is Casey Melvin, M-E-L-V-I-N. I am an occupational therapist, and I am in support of Senate Bill 357 because it supports students in their least restrictive environment to be able to maximize their independence and ideally reach their full potential. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Melvin. Please go ahead.
Hello, my name is Satya Cox, C-O-X. I am an occupational therapist doctorate student as well, and as a future practitioner, this is just right up our alley, and I support this bill and the inclusion that it'll bring in the least restrictive environment.
Thank you, Ms. Cox. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Matt Olivier, O-L-I-V-I-E-R. I'm the advocacy chair for the Nevada Occupational Therapy Association. We're having our Hill Day today and very excited to be OT practitioners speaking to great bills like this, meeting the needs and critical supports for students with disabilities. OT is a profession that helps develop functional skills and supports students in this way. So we're excited to partner with efforts like this in the school system. This bill aligns with OT's mission to remove barriers, empower students with the skills they need for lifelong success. And we are so excited to hear so much great support for it. We thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Riviere. Please go ahead.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mitch Strominger, Strominger, and I'm the only pediatric neuroophthalmologist in the state of Nevada. And I'm going to tell you, I think this is really important that I support this bill for a couple of reasons. Number one is that I have discussions with parents on babies or small children that are born blind. And the one thing that I tell them that's really important is that they do need to start Braille early, because our brains continue to develop over time. And if you start Braille when you're in high school, you've missed all that opportunity. And so sometimes there's feedback from the school saying, well, maybe it doesn't need to be started early or something like that, but it's really important to do that. And then the other thing is, I think it's really important to have timely Braille services. I had a student who's in high school, and I saw her the other day, and I said, how are things going? She said, well, I'm having trouble. I said, why is that? And she said, well, all my textbooks and my reports and things like that are sent over to someone to type out Braille for me to then understand, and it can take 3 months to get that. So she was falling behind in her classes just because of the timeliness of getting her notes back in Braille. So I think supporting our blind students, especially getting them started early in Braille and giving them those opportunities, I think is really important. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Strominger. Anyone else would like to testify in support of Senate Bill 357 here in Carson City? Seeing none, I do see someone in Las Vegas. Please state your name and spell your last name for the record. You'll have 2 minutes. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Leanne McAllister, MCALLISTER. I am the Executive Director of the Nevada chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics. And I don't have much more to add than what Dr. Strominger just shared, except that this is well within policy of the American Academy of Pediatrics to start children on Braille as soon as possible in their education path. So we are in support of SB 357. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McAllister. Seeing no one else here in Carson City or in Las Vegas, I believe we have some on the phone line. AVH, let's have our first caller in support of Senate Bill 357.
Thank you, Chair. To provide support in Senate Bill 357, please press *9 now to take your place in the queue. Mr. Kearns, go ahead and unmute.
Don't mean to make this bill dramatic, but there are some drama here. As an assistive technologist, as Mr. Edwards could contest, we really are the rubber that meets the road when it meets the student getting into the higher educational process. And I hate to say this, but without Braille and without the assistive technology training and the use of technology to be able to access computers, a blind student really enters into the college system functionally as well as technologically illiterate. And without this bill taking one more step to making and assuring that students with disabilities are trained and prepared properly, that's what Nevada is preparing. Functionally illiterate and technologically illiterate students. And I hope that the Senate thinks about this and supports this bill as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kearns. Next caller.
Eric Wilcox, Wilcox. I am the parent of a deaf child and chair of the Nevada Commission for Persons who are Deaf and Hard of Hearing, speaking today on behalf of the Deaf Commission. Thank you, Chair Taylor and members of the committee for hearing the bill. The Deaf Commission has documented many complaints of inadequate accommodations for deaf and hard of hearing children in Nevada schools. Thus, the Deaf Commission supports efforts such as this bill to strengthen adherence to the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act in Nevada. and we urge your support as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilcox. Next caller.
Good afternoon. This is Lynn Chapman, LYNNCHAPMAN. I first want to start off saying hi, Dora and Catherine. Like most people, I never really thought about people with disabilities and the struggles that they most likely have had to go through until my mom ended up in a wheelchair, and since that time, I try to make it a priority to help others. Danielle Chazin wrote an article which she pointed out, quote, 1 in 8 people in the U.S. is experiencing hearing loss in both ears, according to the National Institute on Deafness and Other Communication Disorders. 1 in 4 U.S. adults has a disability that impacts their major life activities, yet only 4% disclose it in the workplace. 54% of adults with hearing loss have worked for a significant amount of time without disclosing it. Students managing disabilities in the classroom are often embarrassed to share them or do not have a thorough knowledge of the resources that are available to them, unquote. I was amazed at the technology that's available to students. There are assisted listening devices that amplify sounds, even if there's background noises. For the blind, we need to make sure that Braille is available to all with visual impairments and students who are blind. We must make sure that all of our students have integrated assistive technology and the technology services. There are so many tools available, such as Braille translators, magnifiers, talking calculators, electronic note takers, and the list goes on and on. Disabled students are not dumb, and they should not be held back in their learning because of a disability. Let us in Nevada place all students on the same playing field, giving every one of them the same chance to succeed in life. Please vote yes on SB 357, including the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chapman. Next caller, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Beth Jones, and I'm the parent of 2 deaf and hard of hearing teenagers, Alexis and Harrison. They are both currently on IEPs in the Clark County School District. They both have been involved in the last 4 legislative sessions, and my daughter Lexi is the deaf student in the documentary with Ms. Martinez, which Ms. Nielsen mentioned. Before I became a mother to my awesome kids, I was also a special education teacher in Clark County School District, holding a master's degree in special education. I am currently the executive director of Nevada Hands and Voices, an organization supporting children who are deaf and hard of hearing throughout Nevada. While I'm here today as an individual, I have been supporting children with disabilities, including my own, for over 27 years and have much experience on this topic. I fully support this bill, making sure students receive the quality education that they deserve with clear standards and individualized support to achieve their full potential. This surprisingly does not happen across our schools as much as we would think or as much as we would hope. And my team and I work with many parents and professionals on a weekly basis, dealing with children of all ages across the state to ensure that they are provided the education and empowerment needed to help the child achieve their full potential. Strengthening supports, as mentioned in this bill, will strengthen our children and ultimately strengthen our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Next caller, please.
Hello, my name's Kimberly Shepard, SHEPHERD. I'm an adaptive physical education specialist in the Carson City School District. Good afternoon. I have over 25 years teaching special education, and I've dedicated my career to ensuring that students with disabilities receive the support and resources they need to thrive. I currently teach students that are deaf and hard of hearing, and I have students that are blind or with low vision. I am here today in strong support of SB 357. It takes a critical step in improving education for students with disabilities in Nevada. Every child deserves access to meaningful and inclusive education, and this bill strengthens the framework necessary to provide appropriate services, accommodations, and opportunities that empower students with disabilities to reach their full potential. In my work, I see firsthand the challenges that students with disabilities and their families face in accessing equitable education. SB 357 helps bridge these gaps by enhancing support structures, improving accountability, and ensuring that educators have the necessary tools to provide high-quality instruction tailored to diverse learning needs. This bill is not just about compliance, it's about commitment to equity and inclusion. By supporting SB 357, you are advocating for the success of all Nevada students. I urge you to pass the legislation and reinforce Nevada's dedication to ensuring that every student, regardless of ability, has the opportunity to succeed. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Shepherd. Next caller.
Caller, please press *6 to unmute. There you go. Please ensure that you are unmuted on your end and proceed.
Yesenia Gonzalez, Vice President to Azul Blue United by Autism, serving our community in Las Vegas, Nevada. Having a special needs son who has impairments, I understand the frustration, as many of our families do as well. My son endured when communicating via ASL in school. Many assumed he didn't want to speak, but didn't understand he couldn't speak because he was nonverbal and also couldn't see properly due to having a genetic disorder with his eyes. Quickly and brief, I'm going to try to be. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act IDEA outlines 5 special factors that the IEP team must consider. Number 3, the blindness or visual impairments. IDEA requires the team to consider Braille instruction unless it's determined unnecessary after an evaluation. Number 4, deafness or hearing impairments. The team must evaluate language and communication needs, including whether ASL or other supports are required. IDEA's regulations for considering these special factors appear at SS 300.324, sections A, 2, and I, and 5, and read as follows. Under 2 considerations of special factors, the IEP team must, under section 3, in case of a child who is blind or visually impaired, provide for instruction in Braille and the use of Braille unless the IEP determines after an evaluation the child reading and writing skills needs and appropriate reading and writing media, including an evaluation of the child's future needs for instruction in Braille or the use of Braille. That instruction in Braille or the use of Braille is not appropriate for the child. Under section 5, consider the communication needs of the child, and in the case of a child who is deaf or hard of hearing, consider the language and communication needs opportunities for direct communications with peers, professional personnel in the child's language and communication mode, academic level, and full range of needs, including opportunities for direct instruction in the child's language and communication mode. Under 5, consider
Ms.
whether
Ms. Gonzalez, your time is up. Would you please wrap it up?
Yes, ma'am. Devices and services under SS 300.324 ensure Azul Blue United by Autism supports Senate Bill 357, and we hope and pray that this bridges the gap space in our special needs community. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the call. Next caller, please.
Good afternoon. This is Anna Binder, Vice Chair of the Nevada Governor's Council for Developmental Disabilities, and I just want to echo everyone else who came before me in support. I just wanted to give you guys 3 very quick little stories of why this is so important. Just a few years ago, about 2 years ago, I attended an IEP for a family who had a daughter with cerebral palsy, and I was completely appalled that staff would take her walking stick because she could, quote unquote, get around just fine leaning on other students. So that meeting didn't go over super well, but at the end of the day, she got her walking stick back. About a year and a half ago, I attended another IEP for a young lady who was deaf, hard of hearing, and she was being left unattended in a gen ed PE class where she was being sexually abused. And I will just tell you, it took over 3 weeks for CCSD PD to be able to get a legal ASL translator for them to even file the police report. And it took 3 meetings with that school to even get the communication through that this is what she was experiencing. And then thirdly, some of you have heard me talk out loud about a wonderful young man who's also deaf and hard of hearing. And he was left last year at ESY with none of his assistive technology. And it leads to discipline for him that is just, it's just amazing. So I work very hard to make sure that our families know about the assistive technology, but I concur with Senator Cruz, where sometimes people just don't know. And a lot of the times the families don't know. And I have asked assistive technology, like how they don't send out like an email about it. We don't get any communication about it. So when I show up for IEPs, if I don't ask for it, it's not being offered. Like, you have to know exactly what to ask for. They don't just say, hey, we have this great stuff and we're going to help you. So just so you guys like to know that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Binder. Next caller.
Caller, please press star 6 to unmute. Oh, we're having difficulties. We'll move to the next one real quick.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Stephen Cohen for the record. Ditto. Thank you. And I yield. Oh, by the way, keep the wind and snow. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Next caller.
Caller, please proceed.
Hi, this is Cynthia Swanson. Most people know me as Cindy Swanson. I have been advocating for people with for 40 years. Excuse me. And I think this is an excellent bill that we need to pass. It takes us back 40 years because IDEA has been around, and I think that the educators in the state have kind of forgotten about it. So we're going to have to start at the very beginning and teaching students who are blind, visually impaired, hearing impaired to have the resources they need. I lost my vision about 40 years ago, but I already was literate. And so our children who are blind can be literate, and they know what an adjective is, what an adverb is, what a preposition is, how to start a sentence. I'm telling you from my own point of view that these students need this. And somebody else said earlier, another thing I would add is educators need to tell families what exactly is available. I am blind, and I also have a 37-year-old son who has Down syndrome, for whom I was told would never read, and he reads. So we have to look at the bigger picture with these students, and I thank everybody for advocating for this. Please pass this bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Swanson. Is there another caller, AVH?
Chair, we have no additional callers at this time.
Thank you so much. And now we'll open it up for opposition testimony. Is there anyone who would like to testify in opposition to Senate Bill 357 here in Carson City or in Las Vegas? Okay, seeing none, we will go to the phone lines. Is there a caller in opposition, AVH?
Thank you, Chair. To testify in opposition to Senate Bill 357, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone who would like to testify neutral testimony for Senate Bill 357 here in Carson City, or if there's anyone in Las Vegas, please come forward at this time. Go ahead and begin when you're ready.
Chair Taylor, members of the committee. My name is Susan Kima. I'm the Executive Director for the Nevada Association of School Superintendents. And today, on behalf of district superintendents, we are testifying as neutral on SB 357. NAS supports the tenets of IDEA, the right to a free and appropriate public education in the least restrictive environment, and the collaborative IEP process. We'll take the amendment and the additional information presented today and take it back to our members for review. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kima. Seeing no one else here in Carson City or in Las Vegas, AVH, do we have a caller for neutral testimony?
To testify on neutral to Senate Bill 357, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers in neutral at this time.
Thank you so much. Senator, would you like to have any closing comments?
Just briefly, thank you, Chair and members of the Senate Education Committee, so much for allowing me Senator Lisa Krasner, proudly representing State Senate District 16. Thank you, Chair Taylor, and every member of this Education Committee. I sincerely appreciate you allowing me to be here today. I would appreciate your support on SB 357.
Thank you, Senator. Okay, we will close the hearing now on Senate Bill 357. Thank you so much for all who came out and who called in to testify and be a part of this process. Now we will move on to Senate Bill 272. We will open the hearing for Senate Bill 272. Senate Bill 272 is an act relating to intercollegiate activities. And we will ask, we're going 1 minute recess. All right. God bless you. Thank you, everyone. That's how we call the meeting back to order. You done? Okay. Thank you, everyone. We will now call the meeting back to order and we will open the hearing on Senate Bill 272. Again, this is a bill relating to intercollegiate activities. And before us, once again, is Senator Krasner, and she has co-presenters as well. Please go ahead when you're ready, Senator.
Thank you so much, Chair Taylor and members of the Senate Education Committee, for letting me be here today and letting me present another bill. I sincerely appreciate your time. I'm here to present Senate Bill 272, which addresses the Nevada Interscholastic Activities Association eligibility and right to appeal and the appeal process. There is an amendment which each of you should have, and we are working off of the amendment. I have notes prepared, but I think I'm just going to speak from the heart here. Some of the people that live in my district, Strominger? Right. Dr. Mitch Strominger, his wife and his son who are here today, reached out to me and they had a concern. Their son, who's with us today, was being bullied at his school. And, you know, as a kid, when you're being bullied, you feel all alone. But you have your sports if you play sports, right? And then, you know, his parents, in doing the right thing, moved him to a different school, but then going to another school found out that the law says you have to wait 180 days, which is basically a whole year before you can play sports. So now we have someone who's at a new school, bullied at their old school, moved to a new school. Hard to make friends when you go to a new school, but you have your sports, but no, you don't, because of this rule in the NIAA that says you can't play sports. So then there's nothing left for the kid, and that just doesn't seem right. So they reached out to me. I said, yes, I will bring this bill. And everyone warned me. They said, those people at the NIAA, you know, you're not going to be able to deal with them. You're not going to be able to work with them. And so I said, well, you know, I'm just going to try. So I reached out to Tim Jackson, who's the executive director of the NIAA, and he's sitting right here to my side, co-presenting with me. And we are in agreement on this bill. We worked together on this bill, and we created the amendment to this bill together. So I'm so incredibly happy to have both of these people with me. And I think I'm going to let Dr. Mitch Strominger speak first as my first co-presenter, and then I'm going to ask Mr. Tim Jackson, Executive Director of the NIAA, to speak, if that's okay with you, Chair Taylor. Thank
Go right
you.
ahead. Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Mitch Strominger, Strminger, and I'm really a pleasure to meet you because I've never met you since this started a couple of years ago. So, you know, I told you I'm a pediatric surgical subspecialist, but primarily I'm a dad of a high school athlete. And as a physician and a dad, one thing that's come up over the last few years is that the incidence of anxiety, depression, and unfortunately suicide is actually rising in our state. And I don't know what that is, but all I can tell, or why that is, but all I can tell you is that I think it's really important that students participate in sports because that really protects them to some extent against suicide and depression. And there's a lot of articles, scientific articles to that effect. So the second is that I want to address the NIAA. And, you know, the motto is that it's serving Nevada youth since 1922. But the problem is this regulation that states that if a student transfers schools and he's participated in a sanctioned NAA sport, they cannot participate in that sport for 180 days. So that's a year. And, you know, here's where my testimony gets a little personal. And I'll let my wife and I think my son talk to that a little bit better. But my son did get depressed and had some suicidal ideations because of being ostracized and felt isolated at school and some other things that he'll talk about. And we got him a therapist, and he actually did really well. And our therapist recommended that he transfer schools. And we also had the principals of the school he was going to agree with us that it probably wasn't the right school for him. So we ended up transferring him down to Sierra Lutheran High School in Carson. But here's where the situation got worse. When he was at Sage Ridge, he played basketball. It's a small school, so he played on the varsity team, and he also played golf. But the NIA told him when he got transferred that he couldn't play. He couldn't play varsity sports. He could play golf, but his score wouldn't count if he went to a tournament. So that made the whole situation worse. And as a parent, you don't know what to do. So the NIA say, well, you can appeal that. So we paid $500, and that went for a hearing officer to come in. And the NIA contracts with the hearing officer. We didn't have any choice. And I just want to read you the regulation, because that's really the crux of it. The regulation states that we need to prove hardship, which is defined as an unusual circumstance that is beyond the normal control of a pupil, parent, or legal guardian of the pupil, and is not related to participation in sanctioned sport. So I felt, we had a good case, right? We certainly didn't transfer him down for sports reasons. As a matter of fact, the two principals of the schools came to the hearing and said, yeah, he didn't transfer for sports reasons. And we discussed the hardship that Warren was having with emotional distress and everything else that was going on in his life. And we couldn't conceive that the NIA would disregard that as a hardship. But you know what? They did. And as a parent, I wanted to cry when I heard this, right? So I just wanted, Warren's going to testify, but I wanted to read you 4 other cases. Unfortunately, these parents couldn't be here, and they're really quick, but these parents testified about their kids having problems, and they all got rejected from playing varsity sports. And this one testified the pupil's mental and emotional and physical health had been severely compromised. Now, you can read these. These are in the NIA website. You can just go there and read them. So it's nothing that's proprietary, and these are all, the names are left out. So, So the parent says that the pupil's suffering. We were petrified of the pupil's mental health. We reached out to our family pediatrician. She advised us to immediately have the pupil seen by a therapist. We absolutely do not believe it is safe for the pupil to return to Liberty High School, and we cannot justify sending him back there to endure that pain anymore. And so this hardship was rejected by the NIA's hearing officer. There's another one. The pupil, based on his religious beliefs, did not attend classes at Palo Verde during certain Jewish holidays, including Passover. The pupil's absence from school for these religious holidays were counted against the pupil's total absence for the year. In addition, the pupil indicated he experienced anti-Semitic comments at Palo Verde, such as jokes about the Holocaust. And this student's hardship was rejected. The mother described the specific instances of bullying against the pupil, and this is really heartbreaking. The mother testified that in February 2022, the pupil and other girls on the basketball team saw a group of girls targeting one of the teammates, trying to get the teammate to fight them. The mother indicated that they then started targeting other teammates and eventually the pupil. There was an incident when 8 or 9 of these girls were in the bathroom, when the pupil was there and they surrounded her, blocked the door, and called her names. They tried to get the pupil to fight them right there, but the pupil told them she didn't want to fight them. And they eventually had at the door, and she reported the incident to Assistant Principal Olivia Cooper. After the incidents, the mother testified that they would see the pupil in the halls, they would run into her intentionally and start arguing with her. The mother indicated that the pupil was afraid to go to school. The mother indicated the pupil wasn't sleeping well and was depressed and sad, and it became very difficult to get her out of bed and go to school each morning. And the last one is, in August 2022, the pupil had a birthday party at the lake, and all his friends seemed to be getting along. Within a week of the party, the pupil received a text message from the group stating, "We no longer want to be friends with you." This message came out of nowhere and completely stunned the pupil and the family. The pupil didn't know why his friends had shunned him. The pupil reached out to the French group and numerous occasions asked what the reasons were for the message. The only response is they didn't want to be his friend. The pupil spent many nights in tears, noticeably demonstrating anxiety and depression. And these are just a few examples of documented testimony. You can read them if you go onto their website, by parents to the NIA and the hearing officer. And in all the cases, the ruling was the same. And I'm going to quote, "The totality of the substantial, reliable, and probative evidence adduced at the Level 2 hardship appeal establishes that the pupil did not prove that a hardship exists and that the pupil is ineligible to participate in any varsity sport that his or her name appeared on the roster at whichever school it was for 180 days after his enrollment." And this is really sad. And then it goes on, a lot of these cases, similar to my son, to punish the student more, saying that they could play at the sub-varsity level. They can practice with the varsity team, but they can't play on a game. Or if there's no varsity team that they can play, but their score wouldn't count. For example, golf and track and things like that. So, how could the NIA care so little about the emotional well-being of my son Warren or other students who must change schools for their betterment? They don't have any healthcare professionals on the board, and despite me and others testifying at their open meetings, and I've done this on occasions trying to get them to change the regulation because I think they could do it if they wanted to, they continue to not consider emotional distress as a hardship and a reason to change schools, and they continue to do nothing. So please support SB 272. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Strominger. Senator, you have 5 minutes left, so there's time for the family to come up if you'd like.
Senator Taylor, Senator Lisa Krasner, proudly representing Senate District 16. Senator Taylor, if I may have one more co-presenter, thank you.
Absolutely.
Hello, my name is Warren Strominger. I'm here asking for your support for SB 272. I'm a junior currently attending Sierra Lutheran High School in Carson City, where I play basketball and golf on a varsity level. I started attending Sierra Lutheran High School in my sophomore year of high school, but due to me transferring from Sage Ridge, the NIAA decided I was not able to participate in varsity sports at my new school for my sophomore year. The reason why I transferred schools was because I was getting constantly bullied based on my religion, getting to such a point that I was told to go back to Auschwitz. This, along with other issues, caused my mental health to quickly decline, causing me to wonder if my life was even worth living. At this time, the only thing that helped me get through life was playing basketball and golf at my school, which helped take my mind off the fact that I had no friends, and in my mind, the idea that no one truly cared about me. Even that was not enough to stop me from thinking about taking my own life, as the teasing got so bad that I had to leave the school for the last couple of months of the school year. That April, my family and I started looking at other schools, including boarding school, in Monterey, California. But after careful deliberation, we decided that I should attend Sierra Lutheran High School in Carson City, as they had a very solid academic foundation with teachers who, after my time at the school, I can say are some of the best I have ever experienced in my academic career, as well as having a very solid athletic program including basketball and golf. But there was one thing that was missing, and that was playing varsity sports. The NIAA ruled that I was ineligible to play varsity sports due to my transfer. This limited me from making good friendships with those in my grade who were on the varsity team, as I had to play on the JV team consisting mainly of freshmen. Unfortunately, halfway through the season, while playing against a less skilled JV team, I was tripped. This resulted in me tearing my meniscus, which prevented me from playing the second half of the season and put me on a long road to recovery. After my transfer, the NIA also decided that I could play golf on the golf team. However, in tournaments, my score would not count. This got me very discouraged, leading to me not wanting to play in tournaments or even be a part of the golf team. I transferred schools not to play sports, but to get a new start, with new friends, teachers, and a community that would treat me better. But the NIA punished me and prevented me from building friendships with those who play sports at Sierra Lutheran High School during my sophomore year. To me, the past is the past. But I want to help prevent those who are and could be in similar situations as I was, helping pave the way to a new future where kids who are going through hard times can transfer schools without getting punished and allow them to start anew and create their own friendships through sports. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Strominger.
Senator Lisa Krasner, may I have one more co-presenter
Yes,
come up, please?
We know that she's here, so come forward.
Thank
And
you.
you actually have another 2 minutes. So.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Thank you so much, Ms. Strominger, for being here.
Thank you. I am Jacqueline Strominger, Strominger. Gotta put my glasses on. So thank you for this opportunity to speak today in support of SB 272. I'm going to cry. Okay. My name is Jacqueline Strominger. I'm a certified professional coach, an entrepreneur, and a parent. Oh my God, it's so tough. Okay. As parents, we always want the best for our children. It is incredibly difficult to watch when one of your own begins to spiral downward. The pain is heartbreaking. And as a parent, we will do whatever we can to support our children. Our son is strong both academically and athletically, and during his freshman year, the basketball coach recognized his talent. He was only a freshman. He was the only freshman who played both JV and varsity basketball teams at Sage Ridge. Although Warren appeared to be thriving on the outside, he was crumbling. I knew there were challenges with the students in his class. He didn't have a strong circle of friends. And academically, he was doing well, but what he lacked was a solid social community among his peers. His real sense of belonging came from the basketball team, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, the coaching staff he played with daily. In March of 2023, at the end of the basketball season, the coach and the coaching staff made a decision to leave the school. His community was coming apart. And then Warren drew a picture of a tombstone with her R.I.P. Warren written on it. It became glaringly clear that our son was in a downward spiral, and we had to take action. What we didn't realize at the time was the extent of the bullying he had also been experiencing. Combined with the loss of the athletic community, this is becoming a turning point that really demanded, obviously, change. So working with Dr. Hovanek, we made a decision for Warren to finish the school year remotely. As a family, we began searching for a new school, exploring boarding schools in California and Florida, but we wanted to stay in the Northern Nevada community. We were looking for a completely fresh start, a school with new students, an academically challenging curriculum, and a strong athletic program. And I saw how sports gave our son joy, structure, and a sense of belonging, a community formed on the court and on the golf course. Our search led us to Sierra Lutheran High School in Carson City. In April, we met with Mr. Patrick Maynard, head of Sierra Lutheran, and I saw a light return to Warren. Mr. Maynard made Warren feel heard, accepted, and most importantly, supported. He generally wanted to see Warren succeed and achieve his dream of getting into the college he had his heart set on. And as a parent, it felt like we finally had found a home. Warren was accepted and began his sophomore year at Sierra Lutheran. He started playing and practicing with the basketball team during the preseason and arriving to be in the gym early and bond with his new teammates. His work ethic and skill earned him a spot on the varsity team. I was thrilled. Never in a million years did I ever think he would be denied the opportunity to play on that team because of an association's assumption that he had been recruited. The NIA's motto is serving Nevada's youth since 1922. That statement to me rings hollow. A more accurate motto might be NIA doing what we can to kill the athletic dreams and negatively impact students' well-being. When we registered Warren through Register My Athlete for basketball, I was stunned to learn he had been denied the ability to play varsity. He was barred from competing with the very team he had been practicing with, the team that had become his new community, and my heart broke. I saw the pain and disappointment in my son. So as a parent, I did what I thought was right. We spent $500, hired an attorney, and appealed the NIA, shielding Warren from the process to avoid causing him more emotional stress. And we lost the appeal. And it became clear that the NIAA does not prioritize the mental health of students. At the appeal hearing, we had both heads of school from Sierra Lutheran and Sage Ridge testify that Warren was not recruited and that Sage Ridge was no longer the right fit for him. None of it mattered. Having to tell my son he wouldn't be allowed to play varsity was devastating. Worse, he still wouldn't even be able to compete in golf. He could participate, but his scores couldn't count because he had been denied varsity eligibility. Yes, Warren played JV, but it's not the same. The JV was mostly freshmen, not his classmates, and they were largely new to the sport, not experienced players. And the emotional toll took on Warren. It's hard to put into words the toll it took. The mental impact has been immense, and I am actually deeply grateful for his therapist. As we've shared, playing in JV created additional problems. Competing in an inexperienced team led to the situation where Warren suffered an injury that required surgery. I will always hold the NIA responsible for the pain my son has endured. Their decision to deny him the ability to play varsity, to connect with a new peer community, has had lasting consequences. And I hope that this bill and my testimony here today will help end the NIA's unchecked control on the negative impact it has on students who transfer schools. No student should ever be denied the right to play at the varsity level because they transferred schools due to bullying, mental health struggles, or emotional distress. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Strominger.
Senator Lisa Krasner, proudly representing State Senate District 16. Senator Taylor, I just have one more co-presenter there here, and this is Mr. Tim Jackson, the Executive Director of the NIAA, who I'm so grateful that he's here testifying beside me today. Thank you.
Please go ahead, Mr. Jackson.
Tim Jackson, Jackson, Executive Director of the NIAA. As you heard today, we have regulations that sometimes need to be adjusted or need to be worked with. That is the flexibility that we always look for in our regulation. Aside from this regulation being adjusted and revamped and revised and amended and discussed at length, I want you to know we also have another regulation that is not in front of any Senate or Assembly committee for a one-time transfer, which would take into account transfer. The school didn't work for you. The location is not right for you. There are situations that are not conducive to your learning environment. So we are looking at all of these. We always are reviewing our regulations. We are always working to make them better. And that's why I'm sitting here today. My intention was not to come in here in an adversarial situation. My intention was to come in here in a cohesive situation where we had worked together to make something that was better. If we're not moving forward, we're moving backwards. I've always said that and will always believe that. So I want to continue to move our association forward, and I think this is a step forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Senator Lisa Krasner, Senate District 16. Thank you, Chair Taylor and committee members, for allowing everyone to speak. As Executive Director Jackson said, we're here together testifying side by side, both in support of the amended language you see before you, and we're now ready for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you to the Stromingers for coming to share your story. It won't help you, but it will help others. We certainly appreciate that. Are there questions from the committee? We'll take questions at this time. Or comment, go ahead. Senator Titus?
Just a quick comment. Thank you, Senator Krasner, for bringing this forward, and thank you for the family to be here, and especially thank you to the NIAA for being here at this table, because I think we've heard in different committees about the NIL and the universities, and these students now they hop through these portals at the college level. They have no dedication to any school that they go to anymore, and it seems to be okay. And so which it's not okay with me. But however, having said that, when a student truly has a reason to be transferring, and I like that one-time transfer and not have to go through any of those hoops, that makes really good sense to me, frankly, because it makes more sense. But we certainly don't want our students to be hopping around different high schools to play basketball and being recruited like it's happening now, I think, in the collegiate level. So I believe there needs to be some control, and I like where you're going with your solutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Titus. Any other questions, anyone? Okay, that's all. That's all from the committee. We'll ask you to. Well, I will say. Let me make a comment. It's not a question, but Director Jackson, we've known each other for a long time, and so I certainly applaud the work of the NIA and moving forward with this. I know it's tough. It's an institution. It's hard to move and change. I used to be on that board. I get it. But these are certainly the right steps, the steps in the right direction for children. So thank you for that. And Senator, thank you for bringing the bill. Okay, we'll ask you to sit back and open it up for any testimony in support. Any support testimony here in Carson City for Senate Bill 272? Seeing none in Carson. In Las Vegas, we see someone coming forward. Thank you so much. Please go ahead and state your name for the record when you're ready.
Good afternoon again, Chair. Leanne McAllister, McAllister. I am the Executive Director of the Nevada Chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics. On behalf of our 289 members, including Dr. Strominger, who is our immediate past president, our chapter is in support of this bill. Keeping kids safe while playing sports means more than just preventing injuries. It also means creating an environment where kids can enjoy the benefit of sport participation while safe from abuse. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. McAllister.
Good afternoon.
Please go right ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Misty Olmos, MISTYOLMOS. I am a current CCSD employee and a proud parent of a former CCSD high schooler, and she was an athlete. I was lucky enough to have open enrollment when my child needed to attend a high school. Now, this is not the case. I speak for parents that have hardships on getting their child to their school zone, to their zone school because they can't get there to pick up or drop off their children, or it's out of the way, or it has to do with their employment. I have a colleague that has had to take off work to go to these meetings to fight for his children to play volleyball at their middle school. This is next to our work. He had to transfer his students to the school that was next to our elementary school so that he could get to school on time and support our elementary school students. He has had to take numerous days off and because his children have anxiety for the fact that they are not allowed to play the sport that they love. His 2 children love to play volleyball, and they were told that they are not allowed to play that this year because they were just transferred to this middle school. I'm asking you to help pass Senate Bill 272 so that our children stop having anxiety and can enjoy playing the sports that they love that help with their mental health too. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Please go ahead when you're ready.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Erica Nungray, N-U-N-G-A-R-A-Y, and I am a proud support professional with the Clark County School District. As a high school register, I have firsthand experience with challenges students face with transferring schools, particularly its impact on their ability to participate in sports. Far too often, these students are denied the opportunity to play simply because they transferred schools. Even when the move was out of their control, many of these students are navigating unthinkable hardships, evictions due to job loss, death of a parent or guardian, job transfers, homelessness, and heartbreakingly cases of child abuse that force them to leave their homes for safety. Let's also not forget our special education students in self-contained programs. These students are sometimes moved between schools, not by choice, but because their specific program is offered at certain campuses or because districts must consolidate programs. These transfers are solely based on the need and supportive services, not athletics. And these students deserve the same opportunity to participate in sports. None of these students are transferring for athletic advantages. They're transferring out of necessity. Denying them access to extracurricular activities, especially sports, adds another burden during what is already a traumatic and difficult time in their lives. We should do everything we can to support these students, not punish them. SB 272 offers a fair and compassionate solution. It ensures students experience true hardship and not further harmed by rigid eligibility rules. I urge this committee to pass SB 272. Let's protect our most beloved students and give them every opportunity to heal, grow, and thrive, both in the classroom and on the field. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else in Las Vegas? Okay, let's go to the phone lines. AVS, do we have a phone caller in for support of Senate Bill 272?
Thank you, Chair. To provide testimony in support of Senate Bill 272, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Shepard, S-H-E-P-H-E-R-D. I'm an adaptive physical education teacher in the Carson City School District. I am in support of this bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Shepard. Next caller, please.
Chair, we have no additional callers in support at this time.
Thank you so much. Mr. Strominger, we're going to ask you to save your comments until closing comments because you don't get 2 bites at the apple. Okay, no, that's okay, but we'll wait until closing, and Senator, you might decide to do that. Okay, is there anyone here to testify in opposition? Seeing no opposition testimony here in Carson City or in Las Vegas. AVH, do we have a caller in opposition?
To testify in opposition to Senate Bill 272, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, we have no callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you so much. Is there any neutral testimony here in Carson City or in Las Vegas? Seeing none, then AVH, one more time, we'll go to the phone lines.
To testify in neutral to Senate Bill 272, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers in neutral at this time.
Thank you so much. Senator, we'll ask you to come up for closing remarks, and you can say a little something, but it needs to be really tight. Dr. Strominger, it needs to be tight. Needs to be tight.
This is very tight. First of all, Dr. Mitch Strominger, I appreciate the NIA being here, but I just want to make sure that the comments that are made saying that they're thinking about doing a year extension does not detract from or table this bill, because this is very important. And if you look back historically, the NIAA has had a number of years to take care of this problem, and so that's why we put the bill forward. So I just wanted to make sure that's not the case. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Senator?
Senator Lisa Krasner, proudly representing State Senate District 16. A huge thank you to the executive director of the NIAA, Mr. Tim Jackson, who was so wonderful and kind and great to work with and agreeable to this amendment, and came here side by side with me. Dr. Mitch Strominger, Mrs. Strominger, and Warren Strominger, thank you for each and every one of you committee members for allowing me to be here today. Thank you, Chair Taylor, for your excellent suggestions and your time and giving me this hearing. And please support SB 272. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Okay, now we are down to our last agenda item, and that is public comment. If you'd like to make public comment here in Carson City, please come forward at this time, or in Las Vegas, come forward at this time as well. I'll give the phone number for the phone line in case someone would like to call in for public comment. That number is 888-475-4499. Meeting ID is 835-706-59295 if you'd like to make public comment. We'll start here in Carson City. Please go forward when you're ready. You'll have 2 minutes.
John Eppolito. Nevada may, to learn more about the issues with Infinite Campus, go to protectnevadachildren.org. Nevada may be the only state in the country where every public school and public charter school student in the state has way too much subjective and non-educational data stored about them forever in Infinite Campus, i.e. discipline, minor discipline, MTSS, medical, counseling, and psychiatric data. We know IC has been involved in at least 6 data breaches. At protectnevadachildren.org, you can hear WCSD say vendors like communities and schools have, quote, complete access to everything in Infinite Campus on the students they serve, end quote. WCSD will not tell us what other third-party vendors also have access to student data stored in IC. We know the largest free EdTech vendor in the world, Edmodo, was sold to the Chinese. When Infinite Campus came to Washoe County, we learned that there's no restrictions on who they can sell the entire company to. Do you think the Chinese will try to buy Infinite Campus? If not, private equity firms are buying up EdTech vendors. What about Google or Facebook? We know students have had their admissions to college rescinded because of stuff they posted online. Experts have said Infinite Campus stores more student data than anyone ever has on students in U.S. history. 2 questions no one can really answer. How will simply the existence of this IC database affect the future of Nevada students? 2, who will ultimately have access to all the sensitive, subjective, and non-educational student data stored in IC forever? It's time to start deleting the non-educational student data in Infinite Campus. Thank you. You forgot to start the clock. I could have kept going.
No, I have a clock. Thank you, Mr. Eppolito. It's called a phone. Anyone else in Carson City? I've been around you too long, Mr. Eppolito. No one else in Carson City or in Las Vegas. Is there a public commenter on the line, AVH?
Thank you, Chair. To provide public comment, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue.
Hi, my name is Katrin Ivanov, KATRIN-IVANO, Frank. I wanted to urge you to listen to the views that Senator Kerry Buck has proposed. Last time around, I understand your political games. You didn't want to listen to her views because they're good and you would have given her political win. However, she's not running for election this time around. She already won. And it's better to listen to them now than next time, because next time she's going to be running for election again. So also the parents want those bills to be listened to. You guys don't have a system where we, the voters, can vote on what bills to be listened to. It's once you win, it's like we don't matter no more. But we're taking notes. We're taking notes what you guys are doing. So I really hope that you see the difference when people get involved. And please, when you passing bills, keep in mind the federal laws, because I don't want Nevada to be losing federal money due to some bills that are not compatible, especially school bills. And thank you for your hard work. I know everybody's working hard because it's not easy. And if you can write the laws a little bit clear and actually to do what they say they're trying to do, because a lot of times the language is very confusing. In any event, great job and have a lovely weekend, everyone.
Thank you so much. AVH, is there another caller?
Chair, we have no additional callers at this time.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Our meeting is now adjourned, and we'll see you here Monday at 1 p.m.